So we are back in Windblown. It's been a while, but what a time to come back. The Alterattack Update Beta, currently out on the beta branch, in case you couldn't tell from the word beta, so things are subject to change, but this is probably one of the most important updates Windblown has ever gotten. Not because there's a ton of new content or there's a ton of new biomes or bosses, but because one of the core mechanics of the game, Alterattacking, has been changed, reworked. Now, for better or worse, I'm gonna let you decide and I'll give my thoughts later on. But first off, let me show you everything that's been brought with this update. Now, there was a lot more than just the Alterattack change itself. There's a ton of other things I'm going to talk about in this video, but the first thing, the most important thing, is the Alterattack change. So let me show you what I mean. So before the update, if you had this weapon combo, an Eye Blade and a Beat Bolt, the way I played, the way most people would have played this, is very simple. If we had an enemy, let's say the training dummy, you would dodge away from the enemy, and then you would Alterattack from a distance, and everything was well and good, because the Eye Blade had a high Alterattack percentage, and then you would just be kind of reaping the benefits without ever putting yourself in harm's way. Just dodge around like a lunatic, get the Alterattack off, rinse and repeat. That is the way of the past. That method no longer works as effectively, and this is why. So the Eye Blade here, you'll see it has an Alterattack percentage of 100. And what that basically means is if you get the full combo off, 100%. But if you don't get that full combo off, right? If you're just doing what we were talking about before, where you just kind of dash around like a maniac, 25%, 50%, pathetic. For lack of a better term, pathetic. If you're not hitting the enemy, you're not getting any Alterattack percentage, and your attack is not going to do too much. In contrast, if you go up to the enemy and you hit him with that full combo, 146, 400. It just gets bigger and bigger the more you hit the enemy. So the game's kind of incentivizing you to get in there, get your hands dirty. 720%, right there. Now, depending on what enemy you're fighting, maybe you're not able to get the whole combo off. Maybe you can only get half the combo or part of it. And that's okay because it's not an all or nothing kind of thing. You can get some of it. So, for example, if I hit the enemy a couple times and then run away, you can see I got 66%, 108, 150 is what I ended up at, which is a lot better than if I never hit the enemy and I started at 0, 25, 50. So you are fine to just get a couple hits in. Maybe you need to run away, and that's going to give you some value. Or you could just get in there, get your hands dirty, and you can go to the moon in terms of damage with that big 720, bang. So that's it. That's the change in a nutshell. The game wants you to hit the enemy, not dash around hitting the air. Hey guys, Hyperion in editing here. I actually had to stop editing because I made it sound like you gotta use this, like you gotta Alterattack. Not so. So very quick breakdown. When you're using your combo, you have like the little floating Alterattack symbol by your character, which is helpful, right? The blue one is like the lowest tier of Alterattack, but you can also keep going. It'll change to like your flaming orange one, and then for the big one, it just shows up over your head and it goes away. It doesn't like linger or stay. Another visual indicator, in case you're not looking at your character, which you probably should be, but let's say you weren't, you can look down by your weapon. So you'll see as I'm attacking with my Eye Blade, I have this bar filling up here, and it's about to fill up red. That's the big one there. So that's another visual indicator in case you're lost on like, wait, what Alterattack am I? Did I just start? Am I halfway? Whatever. And the reason that's important is because you don't need to just go, go, go. You have a little bit of reprieve, a little bit of a leeway. So here's an example. Eye Blade, I'm at blue here. I can keep this going for a little bit and then resume it. Now I'm at yellow here, or the flaming orange one, and then I can resume it again. And that's actually really important because you don't have to go, 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 attack, attack, attack. You can dodge around, wait a bit for a second, then resume. Keep going, and then keep going. So I just wanted to clarify, I don't think you gotta, once you start, you can't stop. You can take a little bit of a break to dodge, reposition, and you can keep track of where you are by not only the visual indicator, by your character, by your leaper, but also by your weapons. Alrighty, back to the video. Now, ranged weapons, I would say, were mostly unaffected by this because it's not like you were hitting the air with the beat bolt. You were typically hitting the enemy, which you're going to be doing now. You can see I'm getting that percentage up. So that's really it. I mean, not too different than how we used to play it before. Ranged weapons, pretty much the same. Melee weapons like the eye blade, like the fish knife, that's a little bit different now. And then let me briefly talk about Magifish. Magifish have gone through quite a lot of changes. At first, we had a timer where you use the Magifish, it goes on a 3-minute timer. Then it changed to damage, so use the Magifish, you kill enemies, do damage, and then it charges back from 0% to 100%. 100%, it's ready to go. Now, if I want to use my Magifish, I need an Alterattack. I can't use that. I'm mashing C, which is my Magifish button. So I need a little bit of Alterattack, I guess, energy. So if I get a little bit, there you go. Now it works. But it's not that simple either, because according to the patch notes, the Magifish effect, in this case the Gobblefish, it's going to last longer. It's going to have a stronger effect with the more Alterattack you have kind of stored up. Now, if you follow the Church of the Boing God, which I do, the Boing God is the Boing fish, I'm curious, so let's find out what that looks like. Let me see how many Boings we can get. Oh, that was 3 Boings? I kind of messed one up. So it looks like we can get 3 Boings off of just the normal Alterattack there. But now if we get the full charge here, lots of Boings. So it's not... Yeah, it looks like it's normal version. Yeah, that seems about right. So now Magifishes are kind of dependent on you. You can see we still have that timer. We're back at it. Looks like a 3-minute timer. But what value you get from it, that's going to depend on you and your Alterattack. Now we have some other changes besides the Alterattack that are worth talking about. First off, the training rack here with all the equipment was moved and everything was consolidated into one, which is nice. It's on the right. And what replaced it is one of the 2 new upgrades. So Eperin has 2 new upgrades. You should definitely talk to him. You'll have them. They're going to cost, I think it's a 500 cogs each. One of them is this right here, buy a gear. Really interesting. And it's what I wanted for the longest time. And there's a little bit to talk about here. So you'll see we have weapons, trinkets. All of these things have a cost associated with them. So the eye blade is going to cost 1 Memmonite fragment, while the beat bolt is 100 cogs. And these seem to be static, right? I thought maybe they would be random after each run. Everything just gets assigned, a random value. Doesn't seem to be the case. These seem to be static run after run. Same thing with trinkets. So these are the costs for each weapon and trinket. Eye blade is going to be 1 Memmonite fragment. Fiery claws, the same. The shield, 1 Memmonite dust. I'll never pay that. I wouldn't even pay 0 Memmonite dust for it. I hate that weapon. But what's interesting about this is a few things. First off, my very first run today, I bought an Elder Sword. I went in and it went on cooldown. It's recharging. It says, recharging. This item is not available yet. And I can only buy the Elder Sword again after I complete a certain number of biomes. So you can see I need to complete 1 biome left for this one. But then a couple runs later, I got a beat bolt, and that one has a little bit of a higher tally. I need to clear 4 biomes. So great job, Motion Twin. I was definitely going to abuse this system. I was just going to go into a run and then leave, go into a run and then leave. But no, you need to actually finish the biome. And then the other noteworthy thing is that you can only buy 1 item. So you can buy 1 weapon or 1 trinket. You can't buy, 2 weapons if I want an eye blade and a fiery claw, because I think that's a great combo. It's not going to let me. This menu will close after I buy the eye blade, as an example. And then this is a little bit of speculation on my part, but it seems the cost of everything is kind of associated to how good the weapon is. So you can look at the bottom right to kind of see what currency is most common, which is cogs and Memmonite dust. And then the rarer currencies kind of line up with the better weapons. Now, it's not perfect 100% because, for example, eye blade and fiery claws, these are 2 really good weapons in my opinion. But then we have the jar. The jar isn't very good, so why does it cost the same? And then that logic is kind of undone a little bit by the beat bolt. I've always thought the beat bolt was great, but it's only 100 cogs, and a lot of people have plenty of cogs to go around. But then the logic kind of, falls into place a little bit again when you think about the shield. The shield is bad, so it makes sense that it costs 1 Memmonite dust because it's trash, right? We have plenty of Memmonite dust. You can spend it. Same thing with, Raven Blade. So I think speculation. This is a tinfoil hat Hyperion here, but I think this is kind of Motion Twin's way of kind of ranking the weapons just by how expensive they are. And same thing with the trinkets. This probably helps my argument more so because Chrono Catch, obviously one of the better trinkets. This is going to be more expensive, right? This material here, which I forgot what it's called, but it's definitely the rarest one. It's the newest one into the game. Curse Trap and Lefade. These are both really good trinkets, and they cost more than a grenade, for example, right? A goo bomb. So I think, and Detonato. Detonato is also a great one. It's in line with those other two I was talking about. So could be a conspiracy theory, but I think this is an interesting way of seeing what Motion Twin thinks are the best weapons and trinkets, because it kind of lines up with the cost of each of them. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Who knows? And the other upgrade we have is the backpack here. Now the backpack just lets you carry either a gift or a trinket or a weapon in this extra slot that we have here. So as an example, let's say you're going through a run and you pick up a weapon or a gift or a trinket that you want to hold on to. Maybe it's not good right now with whatever build you have going on, but later on it's going to be really good to have, right? Maybe once you loop or once you're in endless, and you don't want to let RNG just decide when you see it again, because for all you know, this is going to be the only Sharp Sisters you're going to see for quite a while. So instead of just recycling and hoping it shows up again, you can pick it up, and instead of swapping out one of my 2 weapons, I can put it in the backpack. And then basically I can proceed as I would like. And then eventually, let's say I'm about to fight a boss, or I've got some trinkets or some gifts that really make the Sharp Sisters good, then I can go into the backpack and just drop it, and then I can pick up the Sharp Sisters, and now I'm good to go. And I guess you could put whatever you just dropped back in the backpack in case you want to hold on to it, but that's pretty much how the backpack works. Not an amazing upgrade, I would say, but it is going to be useful in some cases if you find something, especially a gift, right? There's a lot of gifts in the game, even if you use the memory deck to trim it down. So it's good if you see a gift you like. That's going to be good later on. Not necessarily vital right now, but later on it might be good. Why not put it in your backpack? And you'll notice when you go into a run, you'll have this kill streak counter on the bottom left. So the more enemies you kill without being hit, the higher this number will increase. And this is essentially replacing the timed chest. The timed chest was good for some people, but to others it maybe felt like the game was kind of rushing you, right? Hey, go quickly as possible to get more rewards. Now you can take your own pace, explore, and just focus on not getting hit. And this falls perfectly in line with the new Alterattack changes as well. Alterattack doesn't want you to get hit, doesn't want you to get interrupted, build up that number higher. So risk reward. Get this number high enough and you'll be able to access the replacement for the time chest. Now it's the Killstreak Chest. I did a couple biomes just to test things out, and it looks like it's 30. So at some point within a stage, within a biome, you need to get 30 enemies killed in a row without being hit yourself. And if you do, you'll get a little green check mark and you'll be able to access the Killstreak Chest. Notably, the Killstreak Chest only seemed to give me 2 items instead of the 3 that Time Chest used to give me. Rest in peace, Timed Chest. And then the final few changes would be a expedition recap screen. So if you die, it shows you how many enemies you killed, how much damage you did. Also, if you finish a run, it'll show you the same exact thing. Very sorely needed. I'm glad it's finally in the game. Some other changes as well. We got some additional affixes, so weapons can roll with an overwhelm affix, like 10% chance to overwhelm on hit. Really nice. And then the last thing I'm not going to show on screen, but some bosses finally got their own cutscenes, right? Because in the past we had Headbanger and the Naval S brothers with their own cutscene. Now the other bosses have their own little moment to shine. They do a little bit of aura farming. I like pirate captains a lot, but go check those out yourself. They're really good. So that is it. That is most of the changes brought by this Alterattack update, which is currently in beta, right? So down the line in a couple weeks, if this gets put into the main game, the live version, which I imagine it will, some things might be different just depending on player feedback. But I imagine a lot of this will stick. And of course, I mentioned player feedback, what you guys think, and that's super important. So let me know down in the comments what you think of all these changes. I think there's some universally positive things, right? Like being able to buy a weapon or trinket before you go into a run. Some confusing things like the backpack, nice things like the cutscenes for bosses. But I think the real meat here of the update is going to be that Alterattack change, how that whole system works. So that's really what I'm curious on your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Positive change, negative change. Are you indifferent? Did you, it doesn't matter for you because you're just a beast. You one shot everything. So it doesn't really matter how much Alterattack percentage you get. I'm really curious. So let me know in the comments and I'll see you all in the vortex.